Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. I am here with the forecast for Sunday, November 23rd through Saturday, November 29th. The astrological energetic forecast. That is the theme of this week is truth and healing and almost electric relationship type revelations. I realize there's probably a rainbow on my forehead. I have these prisms in my window, so little bit of a rainbow fairy blessing here. Let's get started on Sunday, November 23rd. Today we have the sun sextiling Pluto. Sun in Sag. Sun just went into Sag and Pluto's in Aquarius. And this is a powerful undercurrent. This sextile, this is flowing energy, flowing information. Sun in Sag, especially at the early degrees, is about illumination and optimism and definitely a fresh perspective. The anaretic degrees of the beginning of the sign. And Pluto in early Aquarius is kind of is syncing up with that. That deepens the light. It sharpens our intuitive perception. And it's going to invite us to see through into the more subtle truths. If there's anything that's happening right now, subtle energy is coming online. And you've probably heard me say this before. Uh, Subtle energy, the outer planets are subtle energy. The inner planets are more personal planets, very 3D energy. Outer planets always win. Subtle energy is pretty awesome. So Sunday, this is a day for clarity about your purpose, clarity about the reason why we're here, our direction. But it's really about the deeper motivations behind the choices that we make. So this might come across as some sort of a surge of empowerment, and it's not going to be like loud or dramatic, but it's going to feel like it's like we've been waiting for the alignment to happen so that the energy can flow. And there's going to be that sense of like not loud or dramatic, but this kind of quiet and steady and undeniable sense of, yeah, this is who I am. This is why I'm here. It's a wonderful day to set intentions. We're coming off the heels of the new moon. If you didn't get a chance to join my gathering yesterday, the Lunar Herbal Alchemy Circle, we're doing a deep dive 4 weeks in a row. We just did intention setting. I think I'll try to put a link. Um, but it's about reviewing Sunday's about reviewing our intentions with honesty. The universe is inviting us to step into the next chapter. We can feel that we're being reborn. And so here we're really going to feel the courage and the authenticity start to flow on Sunday. And then on Monday, the 24th, we've got three things going on. This is one of the more complex days of the week because there's three distinct transits. Mercury, quincunx, Chiron starts off in the morning. Mercury's in Scorpio, Chiron's in Aries. So truth feels very real, especially in the morning. Conversations may cause some sense of a button, feels like your button is being pushed. Um, or maybe you thought, maybe it's also the idea with Chiron is if there's something we really thought we were done with, Chiron might show us that there's a little bit more to be revealed there. It's a subtle but sensitive healing beginning of the day. And it's asking us to speak gently to ourselves and to others and to listen with energetic ears, to listen to the truths beyond the truths. That's what subtle energy is. Also in the morning around 8:30 with Mars squaring the North Node. So this type of transit's going to bring a sense of crossroads where the sense of like our action is going to align with our destiny. You may feel sort of pulled towards the future that you're trying to build, and there might be some sense of lingering fear, or there might be a pattern or obligation that makes kind of maybe makes you feel that's holding you back. The point here with Mars squaring the true node, though, is that this is not a setback. This is a redirection. This is a clarifying. Clarity is everything. So read the energy. Let the North Node. The North Node is where we're headed personally and collectively, why our soul popped into this body. Mars is about our action, I am instincts and how we're navigating this 3D world. So look at the flows as they're flowing, and even if it's a setback, it's not really necessarily going to be a total setback. And then finally, at the end of the day, like around I think it's like 8:30, we have Mercury conjunct Venus. So this is really going to bring some wonderful softening energy to the day. Communication really might start to flow. And communication can be, I've said before, this can be actual physical words, but it might even just be our own sense of communication, our ability to receive and communicate with the universe. It's about deepening our sense of why we're here, deepening our communications, deepening our conversations. They're going to become more emotionally sweet, but it's gonna magnetic. It's gonna feel like the things are being pulled toward us and we're being pulled towards things. So there's this here are these types of conjunctions, Mercury and Venus. This is a harmony between the head in our communication and the heart in our communication. So if there is something that needs to be said, Monday night's a nice doorway to speak from the heart. Tuesday, November 25th, we have Venus quincunx Chiron. This is a tender energy. Venus and Chiron both stir this sense of emotional vulnerability. They might bring awareness to places where we feel unseen, where we feel like maybe we're undervaluing. But being undervalued, we are the microcosm to the macrocosm. So it's an invitation to pause and to value ourselves for who we are. And instead of just simply retreating, see if you can let this transit, this day, just kind of shed some light on a healing that might want to occur, especially around self-worth, especially around trust, especially around those deep truths that feel very personal. It's a really great day for journaling and for heart-centered practices and for listening to the sometimes more quiet voice that exists inside us. Wednesday the 26th, this is a really gorgeous day for relationships, for creativity, also for finances and for emotional nourishment. And this is because Venus is popping off today. We have Venus trine Jupiter and Venus trine Saturn. This is cool. So Venus trine Jupiter is just expansive love, emotional generosity, abundance in all of its forms. This feels like the universe is opening a window, so to speak, and the light is just pouring in. Imagine, in the northern hemisphere, it's winter and it's pretty chilly up here. And with those times where I get to stand in the sun, you can feel like the good wants to grow. And that good could be a relationship, that good could be a creative project, that good could just also simply be some sort of a personal insight. But also because it's Venus, it could be a financial opportunity. Venus trining Saturn. So where Jupiter expands, Saturn contracts, but Saturn doesn't contract. Saturn stabilizes because Saturn is all about really making sure we ground it into the 3D world. So this is going to bring a sense of commitment, a sense of emotional maturity, a sense of long-lasting connection. It's a really good time, good day for long-term decisions, agreements, and heart-to-heart conversations. It's a good day for strengthening bonds. So the tone of Wednesday is one of the sweetest and most supportive Venus days of actually the entire month. So it's a pretty cool exclamation point. And then we have just a couple more transits. On Thursday, we have Mars semi-squaring Pluto. So a semi-square is a challenge, but it's a challenge because there's more to be had. So this is a day of intensity and drive, but it's also a little bit of potential friction because I said challenge. And Mars and Pluto activate the parts of us that want control and want results now. That's Mars. Pluto's going to show us there's a better way. There's a longer term excuse me, there's a longer term picture here. So even though we may feel impatient or a little bit internally pressured on Thursday, rather than pushing, let's this day see if you can let this energy of this transit just kind of show you where your personal power is ready to expand. Really, because you know how when we think we want something, but it's actually coming from a place of fear because we feel insecure about it, but we're grasping at it when our bigger sense of ourself knows that we don't want to act out of fear, we want to act out of trust and security and love and belief that everything is unfolding. So one of the mantras today that might be useful is everything is always working out for me. One of the ways that you might, so this is a good day if you want to, like physical movement or channeling some of that energy that feels intense, a way to kind of release or flow the energy. This is a good day to be outside, walk around, be in the sun, be in nature, play with your dog. We don't have a whole lot going on Friday, but on Saturday, November 29th, this is a day that's loaded with four important aspects. This is about relationship revelations, it's about spiritual insight, and it's about energetic breakthroughs. And this is because we have Mars biquintile Jupiter. All this stuff is happening. All four of these things are happening on Saturday night, Saturday evening. And this is kind of a creative, inspired, but also just enthusiastic energy. We're going to feel optimistic. We're going to feel motivated, but it's going to come from a place of heart-centered expansion because Jupiter is in the sign of Cancer. So we're going to feel like hopeful and motivated. It's a blessed yes energy. And it's an energy of really wanting to do for others and for ourselves. It's very Cancerian. And we also have the Sun sesquiquadrate Chiron. So this is a little, there might be a little bit of an emotional wobble with this energy. The confidence and the expansion that we felt that I just mentioned. Um, there might be a sense of vulnerability too. But remember that if we feel vulnerable or if we feel fear, it's important to pause and stop and not resist it and not push it down. Just recognize it for what it is. It's an opportunity for growth. And it reveals where you're strengthening. It reveals those cracks that we may have wanted to hide. It reveals of the presence is the power here. That's the name of November. It's the name of the type of transformation we're going through as a collective. So it just means be present with it. So then we also have Venus very active the last two transits. We have Venus opposing Uranus. That's the big transit of the day, actually. It's one of the biggest relationship transits of the month, actually. So there could be surprises. There could be surprises in love, surprises and shifts in values, revelations in finances, sudden changes in emotional dynamics. Uranus energy is electric and it can be sudden. And it could also mean that if there's anything stagnant, anything that is unauthentic is going to break itself, come to be revealed. Anything stagnant is going to break open. Anything authentic is going to become undeniable. So we're looking for heart-based authenticity here with Venus opposing Uranus. And this transit's about truth, it's about liberation, it's about emotional awakening. And as I mentioned, with Uranus, it's electric, it's unpredictable, but it's also deeply clarifying. And unpredictable doesn't mean to be feared. If you think about the things we can't predict, that's how the butterfly comes and lands on your shoulder sometime when you're really in that space of release. The other aspect that Venus is making during this day is she's biquintile Chiron. And so this is just kind of this happens about an hour after Venus opposes Uranus, and this is on Saturday evening. And it's just kind of going to bring this healing balm to any of that unpredictability that we might have been experiencing. And this is going to bring tenderness. This is going to bring creativity. This is also going to bring a deep sense of emotional understanding. That's what Chiron and Aries is going to bring. And it might just, like I said, it's going to be kind of like this healing balm if some of that Uranian energy felt a little bit destabilizing because Uranus just lightning bolts its way through. And it's also going to be able to hold and deepen any kind of breakthroughs that we had earlier in the day. So I hope that you have a wonderful week. I look forward to, I'm going to get a podcast, a meditation for us for this week, and I'll send that out next. Bright blessings. And I'll put a link to the Saturday gathering, the Lunar Herbal gathering that we did intention setting in case that's part of your jam. There's 3 more weeks of that, and that you just need to pop on my email list, and that's how I'm inviting folks. All right. Have a beautiful